What up? Thanks for coming back. Today, we're going to talk to two people who ultimately make the show a lot better. Front of house guy, Sebastian. Monitor guy, Malcolm. Just gonna talk to them, see what they're doing to enhance the drums at front of house, to make them better, what they like to hear. Just interview them, touch on like EQ stuff, processing, all that stuff that goes into it. Here we go. This is Sebastian.
Hey there, guys.
What's your name? I just said your name.
You just said my name.
But your name is?
Sebastian.
Okay, what do you do?
Front of house engineer for Andy Grammer and others. 60-second history. Young kid, 9 years old, started mixing in church, Northern California, grew up in production, moved out from there to Nashville, 1819, got into touring not long after that, and have been touring now for almost 9 years.
Hey, can you turn it down? Cool, thanks. Obviously, drums are drums, and you can kind of manipulate them to sound however you want them to sound. But what's one thing that's been a little more, not difficult, but something we've had to work on to get it to a place to sit better in this mix with this type of music?
One thing was definitely the different snare tones over time. You're rocking 3 snares total, all drastically different from one another.
We always find a way back home. And so suddenly I'm in love with a stranger. I can't believe that she's mine. And now all I see is you. To be on my whole world.
Changing per song, given the fact that each song has something else of a different tone behind that snare drum to match the record a little closer. One of them was the second snare, which was having trouble cutting because most of the other 2 snares that I have in the mix are definitely like a fatter, deeper kind of sound. This is a much more shallow, pongy kind of sound out of the snare drum. Honestly, nothing too crazy, but I ended up taking an SSL E channel, or G channel here, E channel in this case. Typical 8K boost here, nearly pegged. It's kind of usually a starting point for me as a shelf. You can see that the bell light is not on. And then also turning around and adding a bunch of pop here at the low end, almost all the way up to, where is that at? 430 hertz or so. Adding another like 6 dB worth, again as a shelf. And then from there, we head over into a distressor, more or less.
This one has a better name, in my opinion.
An arouser. So nothing too crazy happening there. That's just a little bit of light compression. We probably tickle about -6 or so. Attack is like 12 milliseconds to still let the pop from the snare still come through without compressing the transient.
And this is plug-in stuff.
This is a plug-in stuff.
Got it.
From there, I add a little saturation to that as well. But yeah,
Cool.
A saturation, and then something else that you get here is like an attack modification, which is adjusting pretty much the attack
Kind of the
envelope.
transient.
The way the
Okay.
transient sits.
Got it. And then that goes
Goes back into the desk afterwards, and then
and everything's going through the desk. So the
Yes.
preamps of this desk are okay. Great. From here.
from there, then hit a drum group compressor, which is an API 2500. That's over there, the top one in the rack currently here.
That's cool.
With a touring front of house engineer,
Yeah.
you mean? Yeah. I would
Or
definitely
at a church, or at a bar, whatever.
asking questions. I would say is probably the biggest thing. Is just saying, hey, how do my tones fit in with this? How is this translating for you? Because definitely, sometimes depending on the music, what the front of house guy is doing to the drum might be pretty extensive sometimes. And just by you changing a drum out, or him changing a microphone out, or even a placement, will change how much work he has to do to make the acoustic sound of the drum be represented correctly, as well in the entire product of the song.
Dope. Well, you heard it here. Talk to people.
Don't be silent. Don't be silent.
Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Peace.
Cymbal choice. Cymbal choice. And talking with the front of house guy about cymbal choice.
My cymbals are awesome.
Cymbals are totally awesome.
Cool.
And a lot
Thanks.
of smaller...
Bye.
Okay, bye. Darker cymbal choices sometimes are a better choice than you might imagine they be.
You can always add high end, but you can't always take it out.
Especially
in the room.
especially in smaller rooms.
Dope.
I love your cymbals, E-Man.
Yes. We're gonna talk to Malcolm. Malcolm is special. Malcolm has to deal with 8 people.
What'd you say?
Your ass.
8 people on stage plus my ass, so that makes 10.
My name is Malcolm Gill. I am a monitor engineer out of Los Angeles,
Can
California.
you like at least pretend to be into this?
I am so into this right now. I'm just relaxed, bro. I'm chilling, dude. Sure, I've been doing audio for about 10 years now. Full-time touring engineer since 2017. Name drop, Revolution, Stephen Marley, moved to some jazz, Christian Scott. Now I'm mixing for Thundercat, Adam Lambert, and Andy Grammer are my main.
Action.
Oh, right now?
Yes.
So, for EMAN's mix, it's been great working with EMAN because he really knows exactly what he wants. He's got great sounds coming from the source, and he knows exactly what he wants.
Keep it coming. More.
He knows exactly what he wants to hear.
More.
So, yeah, he likes them pretty open and natural. So I've been able to kind of experiment.
Gates are lame.
Gates are lame. Everyone is my priority on stage, not just Andy, although he's my main. So I try and get everyone in a comfortable place. EMAN's mix is pretty typical for a drummer. It's tons of himself, tons of click. What I do like with EMAN is he likes a pretty squashed sound. My go-to, so he's got the APIs for some tonality here.
Yes.
Got some distressors on, kick and snare, of course. All the toms. I've got a little SSL channel strip here just for some saturation. Yeah, so the sauce I'm trying, which we're just trying it out today, but I've got this torque plug-in here. So it's just a tuning plug.
Yes.
So I'm gonna try and fatten up snare 3. Here I found the fundamental, which is about 165 hertz, and I tuned it down some.
Dope.
And a little DBX 160 compressor
Get
there.
that snap.
Yeah, so I heard it during playback and it sounds great. I just need your approval, of course, because you know best.
I think it'll sound great.
Torque is also great for
Twerking is also great.
twerking is also great for a really bad sounding kit. Not saying yours is bad. This is just to get like this really beefy effect. But let's say you have a really bad sounding kit and you don't have much time, just do a little tuning action and it can help you out for sure. Like I'm using now a ton of overheads in my mix. We've got these awesome Earthwork mics, and the imaging is great. And just overall, actually working with you, I just love overheads. I'm falling in love with it.
Because that's the sound.
I mean, most dudes will just high pass it like all the way, 1K just to get the cymbals. I mean, just take that high pass off and you should get the entire kit.
Yeah.
Obviously, positioning needs to be correct, but all of a sudden, like your snare will pop, your toms are in place.
And it's less phase button stuff.
Correct, and I'm able to then do less of the direct blanks, and that'll save your mix completely.
Dope.
I mean, once you get too loud, especially on ears, it's a losing battle. That's a great question. I think what I do is a collaboration with the artist and each musician. So just having a line of communication. So don't be nervous about going to your engineer and just talking about sounds, exactly what you want. Just developing some type of vocabulary off stage and even on stage during a show. I think that'll shave hours or weeks. Like let's say you're long term with the group, like you'll just save weeks of headache and getting to know each other. It should be a collaboration, 100%.
Dope.
Just communicate.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you can also, subscribe, leave a comment, ask questions if you have any questions down in the comments. I learned something. Just, front of house and monitors are always tweaking, always adjusting, always trying to make things better. Adjusting for every room, for every venue, for big, small, it doesn't matter. Just the constant pursuit of making sure people on stage and people in the audience are having a good time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next